Oh, shoot. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tangents with Toby. How are you doing? Hopefully your weekend was great, grand, and everything in between. All right. So today, it's a very special episode for me because this goes back to my last show, and I had a little segment called Question Call, where basically you guys would message me, send MP3s into me, and I would answer them on the air. Sometimes it was live, sometimes it wasn't, depending on the mood that I was going to be in. So today, I'm going to be answering your questions via voicemail, as well as email. So this has been going for roughly the last week. I haven't really been paying attention to my voicemails or email, so I don't know how many we got, but all we can do is go into it, check it out, and see. Alright, okay, let's go and voicemail.
You have no new voicemail.
Well then, it's kind of embarrassing. Maybe it was the long distance charges that people didn't want. And, I totally understand. But if you're like me, what you need to do is go to your Play Store and do a search for Text Now. It gives you an actual free number for texting and calling with your very own voicemail, which you can then phone us. Well, since we don't have any voicemails, let's go to our Tangents with Toby inbox.
You have no new emails neither. Dumbass.
Okay, when I signed up for this email service, I didn't think it was going to be this, how would you say it, personalized. So, Alright, so I think I'm gonna, so today there's going to be no question call. God dang it. But lucky for you, I already have a show lined up, prepped, and ready to go. And it's going to be a top 5 favorites. This week, it's going to be my top 5 favorite Canadian rappers. The more I look back on my choice in music, the more I actually realize that my taste in rap music wasn't done by Warren G like what I thought it was, but it was by some of the people on this list. So let's kind of get going, let's flowing, and let me tell you about my 5 favorite Canadian rappers. First up, Maestro. I think Maestro's one of the first real tastes of hip-hop that I got, and it was in probably the late 80s, early 90s, because my buddy Pete, for some odd reason, he was like up to date on music, and he actually had the cassette at his house. The one that put Maestro and also Canadian rap on the market was Let Your Backbone Slide. It was a huge hit, especially on Much Music, and it kind of opened up doors. So in reality, he was kind of like the godfather of Canadian rap. You can say otherwise, stuff like that, about what I said, but when I think Canadian rap, I think Maestro, which is totally cool, awesome, and he did it for not a lot. Like, the issue with these Canadian rappers, especially back in the early 90s, was it was very, very hard to get noticed and to make any kind of money. Because when it comes to Canadian artists, you can be a number one hit. You could have great record sales in Canada. But at that time, the sales in Canada doesn't mean squat. It wouldn't even pay your rent. You had to hit it big in the States. And it was a major downfall for Maestro back in the day, just because there was the border was what was holding him back. But yet he still started producing music, stuff like that. And in the show notes for the show, I will actually have links to an older version of these guys, like all these artist songs, with the newer version, so you can go and compare it. Next for Maestro, Underestimated. I grabbed a new one. I didn't even realize he had the song, but it is actually a very good song, and you can listen to the two songs from back in the 90s to a little bit earlier, and you can compare the two. Like, it was two totally different styles, two totally different everything. Like, it was quite interesting. Next up, Mad Child. Mad Child really hit it big in the early 2000s with the group Swollen Members. The song that I've chosen for this one is Feel Injected, which some of you are going to kind of shake your head and go, that's not their biggest hit. Lady Venom was. Yes, I know Lady Venom was a huge hit, but I just felt that Fuel Injected had a different vibe, and most people knew about it, listened to it, but they'd rather go with their very first massive hit. So it kind of gives a little bit of a different leeway to it. But with Mad Child, you can totally hear the difference with him, with his style of music when he first came out to even now. He's been popping and producing for like 20 to 25 years. Like, this guy's rap creativity, rap lifespan is so huge, it is absolutely ridiculous. And just late last year, early this year, he did a collab with another Canadian rapper called Tom MacDonald, which I also put in the list for Mad Child's second album. Gotta listen to both, and just listen to the songs from Fuel Injected to being played on Much Music to Bad News, which is more underground, independent. Like, it is really, really interesting to see these rappers from back in the day to now. It's unbelievable. Chocolate. I respect him for the musician. He did have Let's Ride. He also was a part of the Northern Touch song, which was also created by a bunch of Canadian rappers together, you know, kind of get their name out into the world. It's kind of like a superstar collab. So I heard Let's Ride, and I absolutely loved it. And by then, I wanted to get into the music scene. I didn't have the money for the magazines or anything like that, so of course, I really never bought the CD till a little bit later in life. I actually bought the song, which helped me out. Another great song that he had was a duet with Julia Black, female Canadian musician. And, oh, god dang it, why do I always have this happen? Oh, that hurts. Which, Light It Up, very catchy, good duo. And The link is in the bio type of deal. So, Jesus, somebody's on my ass like they're important. Alright. Matt Child, got it. Choclair, got it. Maestro, got it. Alright. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So apparently, this show is going to be my top 6 favorite Canadian rappers. Not top 5, but when it comes to Canadian rappers, there's so many that I could probably make a top 30. It's just absolutely amazing. Just like this next rapper that's on my list, Kish. If you've been paying attention to my show, you've heard me talking to him before. And his story for being the Canadian rapper is actually really quite interesting. Because with him, early 90s, he has an Asian bloodline. So not only is he young, he has that towards him. Canadian, early 90s. It is a huge accomplishment what he has done, especially in the environment he has. His story was also told by a podcast called Mic'd Up. I want you guys to go listen to it after you're done this show and listen to what Kish went through. It was absolutely amazing. And of course, it kind of opened up a little bit of roadway from Maestro. So there's a little bit of a connection between all these guys. But it's really interesting, and I absolutely recommend everybody to go check it out. But with Kish, his major hit, I Rhymed the World in 80 Days, it was over the airwaves up here in Canada. It was beautiful. But there's more to this song that I never knew about, and he actually said it on the podcast. So go check it out, learn something about it. His second album that he created back in around 94 didn't do too well, but what is it? Crate and Concrete? Yeah, Crates to Concrete, I think, is one of my most favorite songs that he has produced. It just has an awesome beat. The rhymes are absolutely dope. Like, it should have blown up bigger than I Rhymed the World in 80 Days. I just think it's a lot more stronger song, just in general. Alright. There's 2 left, and I'm going to save the best one for last. Next up, Joey Styles. Born and raised here in Saskatchewan. Strong roots. But the one thing about Joey is when I first heard of him was back when I was working at the gas station. One of my buddies, what is his name? Devin. He actually played the hit Sugarcane. And I liked it. You know, it's poppy, it's catchy. Sugar, sugar, sugar. Anyway, sidestepping there. So, listen to it. It was great. Then a little bit later on, I then got deeper into it and got his album Black Star, which absolutely shreds from start to finish. There's just no doubt about that one. He even won awards for this album for Best Pop Song, Best Performance, da da da. It is really, really amazing when it comes to this album. Like, it's just, to me, it's that good. A little bit later, like with his next album and stuff like that, he still has those poppy songs, but then he got a little bit deeper into the soul meaning of relationships. Then on top of that, he actually story told about his culture because he has the native descent. And there's so many songs and so many albums, like on crap, I forgot the album. On his album with Cool Runnings, Candy Cane, he had some songs on it that showed and story told about what Native Canadians, Native Americans went through back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Like, it's a very good storytelling, and that's one thing I like about him, is he can have the storytelling within the songs, and it still has the meaning, the beat, everything. Like, it is really, really, I love it. He actually had one that was dedicated to one of his family members right after the album with Candy Cane come on. Yes, I forgot it. Leave me alone. But there's other ones where he will talk about to die for, and it's kind of like a relationship, what he's willing to do for the girl. Joey, he has an unbelievable library of music, and you need to check it out. Canadian rapper Joey is on the list, like, just no doubt about it. Massive respect for this guy. What he has done and overcome, I tip my hat off to him. And here's a fun fact. I was literally 3 days away from interviewing him on my podcast, like, well, 5 years ago, but I had to cancel it because Reimer was going to be due within that time period. So my chances of interviewing him in person when he was down in Estevan, sadly, I couldn't. Maybe there'll be a time in the future where I can interview him, and I just want to ask him stuff like, what, as a Saskatchewan artist, what was the hardest struggles you've had? Because I know if you want to hit it big, you either have to go to Vancouver or Toronto or move down to LA. There, Tom McDonald, Canadian rapper who also went with Mad Child on Bad News, he's a rapper. He wanted to become big, and with him, he actually had to move down to the States to do what he became. Then Kish, he had the issues as well with the Canadian rapper. And from Saskatchewan, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder just because we don't have the resources. Our population's 1.2 million for the whole entire province. Heck, Calgary, the city, has more population than our province. So if you wanted to hit it big, anything like that, you physically have to up and move to Toronto to get into the eyes, the ears, and even the crowds. And that takes me to my last top quotation 6 favorite Canadian rappers. Troy Junker. I've known this guy for 5 to 6 years, and I've watched him grow creativity wise from his first, no, I guess it won't be his first hit, because when he was here in Saskatchewan up north, he had a bunch of songs. But Life's Good is one of the songs that I have down that you need to listen to. The one thing that I like about Troy is he actually has very well meanings and stories and encouragement in his songs. So Life's Good, it just basically says life's good, he wants to make his mom proud, and it just kind of shows his view and opinion of how everything goes. It's great. He also made a song for me, oh crap, with one of the beats from the Ghetto Boys. This guy is absolutely genius when it comes to rhymes. And when it comes to songs, he's so dedicated. He puts his the hours and hours away to make sure everything is perfect. He's even done work with Joey Styles, and that's one thing that's absolutely awesome. The Saskatchewan boys, they got to stick together, and the sky is the limit. One of these days, I will have him on board, Troy. I've talked to him. We have got him, I told him what my idea was, and he's absolutely okay with it. But the song with Troy himself and Joey Styles is Inhale, Exhale. The one part about this song is the beat, or the actual music. It's very, very hypnotic, which gets you into a trance and starts moving. But if you head over to his hang on. He's got 32 videos on his YouTube channel. Make sure you go check them out. But the one song that I have to really, really tell you about is his latest one. For You. The number 4, the letter U. Troy's getting this played on CBC radio, and there was even a video of For You being played in Edmonton on a country music station. It is absolutely blowing up in Canada. You need to go check out the video or stream it on Spotify, Deezer, anything else. To this day, as much as I love Life's Good, For You is probably going to be right up there as number 1. It's just that damn good. No, I don't want that. I want to keep that. So, yeah, I don't know. Troy, he's had a lot of ups and downs. But the one thing that I do have to say is, even though he's younger than me, probably shorter than me, I still look up to him. This is a guy who had a dream, had a vision, had a passion, and he is actually working towards it to make sure he can make that dream live once again. Born and raised here in Saskatchewan, moved out to Toronto. He's getting songs produced, he's creating songs, he's getting noticed. Most people would stop as soon as they hear go to Toronto. Troy's pushing that extra mile to get his dream, his passion, everything fulfilled. If that right there isn't a role model for people to follow, to show that dreams are possible, the only catch is you have to work for it, then I don't know what is. This guy is just absolutely unbelievable. If you don't follow him, you need to follow him. Plain and simple. Your dreams are possible. You just need a shiny light. And this guy's the one. Well, you guys, the show's basically done. Those are my top 6 Canadian rappers. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to email me at tangentswithtoby@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter at tangentstoby. And I will see you next week. And also follow me on Facebook. More things will happen. But I'm running out of time here. All right, thank you for...